Welcome to Mornings with Patricia. Happy Tuesday. Whew. Oh, wow. It's a little after 8 in the evening on Monday. Just got done with my magical class, and it's just nice. The sun is starting to go down. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful. A little windy, but otherwise it's really nice. So, today I want to talk about resonance. There's such a thing called the law of resonance. Resonance. So the law of resonance, metaphysically, is about just that, how we resonate. And it's a universal law that can lift energy and, really bring the vibrations up. And so when you're working with something like the law of resonance, what happens is some things really start to come into your field. But there's some things to be aware of about that. So, because if you think about in the course of your life, and maybe you're lucky enough to be someone who's never experienced this, and so if that's the truth, well, that's great. But sometimes we find ourselves in either relationships or jobs, situations, whatever, that we don't resonate with. That we just can't find, a place to be comfortable. We can't find a place to be happy. And so sometimes, that can change if we are able to work on it. But sometimes it's just not a good fit. And I was talking with some of my students tonight about the fact that just recently have just really felt my calling to go back and get my master's of arts and teaching, working with special needs students. I think it fits well with the ministry that I do. I love kids, and I have a lot of patience, and just energetically it feels right to be working with special needs kids. So in the interim, one of the things I had applied for, it just closed recently, a lot of jobs with as teaching assistant, because the school program takes 16 months. So very, very excited about that. And I got a call today to come in for an interview on Wednesday, and I just feel so blessed. So why I'm telling you all this is, and I think I've shared this with you, that when I came back from India, I started applying for all these different jobs, and at the same kind of thing that I was doing years ago at the state. And nothing was happening. And in those times, you just, maybe you find yourself keep pushing. I did. I kept applying for jobs, and I was joking later that the universe was saving me from myself. And that's true, but really what's happening is the universal law of resonance. So if your energy, if the energy of your life is going a certain way, and you really shouldn't be in a certain situation or job or relationship or whatever, the resonance won't be there, and so you won't make that connection, right? There won't be that connection, like it was for me applying for months for work at the state and a few other places that would have been doing the same kind of work that I did years ago. When I left the state years ago, I had become a minister, but I wasn't doing full-time ministry work. So here you are, or here I am, doing this ministry work and giving to others, and working from my heart region, and then I'm applying for jobs that are from my head region, right? So, of course, the resonance isn't there, so of course things aren't going to happen. So, can you change the resonance? Yes and no. Okay, if you're in a relationship or a job, or even live in a certain place where it's not terrible, but it's not great, you might be able to shift it a bit. So for example, maybe if you're married, you go to counseling, or if you're living in a house, that you could change things around, like feng shui energetically, or paint, whatever it is. A job, get more get more opportunities, maybe to promote or do something different, then then that's a possibility. But there's a time when, if things are going a certain way in your life, that you should think about making some changes. Now, with relationships, sometimes, like, say, friends, right? One of the things I always tell students when they begin studies with me, if they're new to the studies, and my hair's all over the place, when they begin studies with me, is that if you're new to the studies, one of the things you might find happening is, because your energy will change and your perception will be different, so some of the friends that you have now may fall away. That is just one of the things that happens when you enter this sort of life phase or work. So again, if you are in friendships or a relationship that really isn't working, of course, there's always counseling, there's mediation, there's other things, but also maybe it's, your energy has changed, their energy has changed, and it doesn't have to be explosive, it doesn't have to be terrible sad, it can be a gentle move. And find relationships that you feel supportive of, and that support you, and that are interactive, right? Anything that you keep doing, that you have to keep pushing, and that causes great sadness for either person, is not within the law of resonance. Same thing with where you live, right? If you're settling, if you're renting, you might think about renting somewhere else. If you have bought something, then and you like it well enough, then change the feng shui, do something like that. But or, like I said, give it a new paint job, make it new to you, okay? But or don't be so afraid. Don't, maybe it's time to sell and get something different, right? So a thing that I see with this happens a lot, like, say you have a family and you've raised your family, and you might have a bigger house, and the energy of the kids is gone, and you have a lot of house. It might be time to downsize to something smaller and cozier that, hugs you. Now with work, well, I don't know how often, and I've had this experience in my life too, but I don't know how often I hear, I'm just stuck in this job, I hate this job, I just don't want to do this. So I don't suggest that you quit your job, but start to dream and start to look and start to apply for other things. Go and get some more education, or go into a new field, whatever it is. With the law of resonance, we are fully supported in this universe for our good, and that's the thing to really remember, is that the universe is here to fully support your good. So just because on a human level you may not totally understand that, and you may feel like you're pushing up against a brick wall, just notice you're pushing up against a brick wall, all right? Know that, you're not in harmony with the law of resonance. So ask the universe, show me, make it so clear to me, right? And that's what happened with thinking about going back to teaching. Of course, I'd never finished my credential year, but that's the way it first started out. And now, the kids are basically raised. Michael's, a couple more, 3 years and 2-3 years, and things are changing. So now that youthful Patricia, right, from so many years ago, can start to dream again. So just be open to all those possibilities. Don't think your life is so set, so figured, that you cannot recreate yourself at will. Right? Because the universe is asking us to grow, to morph, to change, to do all these things, and and that's embracing our soul purpose. That gives us something, so deep inside, where you're not just waiting for whatever, waiting to get the mortgage paid off, or waiting to retire. All those things are wonderful and fine, but if you're not being fulfilled, and if you're just waiting, what happens when those things happen? Are you going to be happier? Well, maybe because you're not working, but look at, if you weren't in a fulfilled place before, just because you're retired and not working doesn't mean you're suddenly going to feel fulfilled. Some of the things that really bothered you during that time are going to move right along with you into retirement. So just notice that. Just notice these things in your life, and also notice, while a job or people or a house may be out of resonance, there's also something with you that may not be in tune with the law of resonance, right? So take a look. If you are having sadness in your life or some unhappiness, ask those questions. Get down to the bottom of that, and give yourself some time to do that. And then, just check in. I do, I don't, maybe a daily, but 3 or 4 times a week I check in with the law of resonance. Am I feeling like I'm with the flow? If I'm feeling centered? And for months, especially around work, I didn't, and I knew what that was, but I didn't because my heart hadn't been shown, or I hadn't seen about the teaching. I was just floundering with that whole what's happening here. And so while the rest of my life was very centered, the whole work thing, and I knew I wanted to go back to work, but you know what? I wanted to do that work that Patricia does from her heart, and to help others, and I didn't want to just go back and do work and to get a paycheck. So, I wanted the full meal deal, but I just didn't know what that full meal looked like yet. So just be so patient with yourself, and just check in and make sure that you're resonating, right, within and without. Because when you do that, when you work with the law of resonance, things take a dramatic change, take a dramatic shift. Especially when you work on inside yourself, because that follows you all the way through everything in your life. So, I know that you are going to have a terribly terrific Tuesday. And 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, I love myself. I love you. Thank you so much. Have a blessed, blessed day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.